Let me now turn to the economic support package, and I'll ask the Treasurer to go through these measures in greater detail. And I thank the Expenditure Review Committee and all ministers who have been working closely on these issues over the course of the past week. I also want to commend the state and territory governments for the measures that they have been taking when it comes to addressing the economic needs in their jurisdictions. The package of measures, combined with those we've already announced, sums to some $189 billion, or around 10% of the size of our economy. 10% of the size of our economy. That is unprecedented in this country. What we'll be doing, as I said, is focusing on those in the front line, those who will be feeling the first blows of the economic impacts of the coronavirus. We'll be supercharging our safety net. We'll be supporting the most vulnerable to the impacts of the crisis, those who will feel those first blows. To preserve the businesses that comprise our economy, so on the other side they can bounce back strongly and don't have to reassemble themselves from the ruins of failed businesses. I also want to note that this is a set of measures which is about looking over the next 6 months. There is no 2-week quick fix. There is no 4-week shutdown and it all goes away and we all get to go on about our businesses. I've seen those suggestions. The medical advice is very clear. There is no quick solution. We have to steel ourselves for at least the next 6 months, and the measures that we put in place, we need to be prepared to carry on for at least the next 6 months. They need to be sustainable. They need to be scalable. I also want to note the measures that we announced today come on top of the normal stabilisers that occur in our economy. Access to family tax benefits, access to other benefit payments, rental assistance, all of these things, as access to primary payments like the job seeker payment and others kick in. So when someone gets access to the job seeker payment, and the Treasurer will be taking you through that because we're expanding the eligibility, that means they also get access to many other payments that can add hundreds and hundreds of dollars per fortnight to their annual income. This is about supercharging the safety net. The measures will double income support for those on JobSeeker. They will help Australians to access more of their own resources to get through this time of crisis. They will provide more support for pensioners and carers and the other most vulnerable groups who are recipients of benefit payments. It will provide a lifeline to cushion the blow for small and medium-sized businesses with grants of up to $100,000 to see them through. And it will also provide a shield to protect you. Whether it's issues of insolvency or bankruptcy, the normal rules aren't going to apply here. We want to make sure people are there on the other side. We have to change the rules for this period to make sure more and more Australians get through this to the other side so they can bounce back strongly when it's over. This will not be the Treasurer and my last visit to this podium, these podiums, to make announcements on these measures. This is the next tranche. It's focusing on those who are going to feel the first blows. There will be more packages. There will be more support. There will be more issues that even now haven't presented themselves or even couldn't be conceived at this point with what we may face over the next 6 months. And we will be working night and day to ensure that we bring forward the measures that Australia needs to get them on this bridge to the recovery on the other side. The more we work together, the more we share the load, the more we share the sacrifice, the more we do the right thing together as Australians, the more lives we will save, the more livelihoods we will be able to preserve, and the stronger we will all be on the other side. Treasurer.
Well, thank you, Prime Minister. Since the government announced its first stimulus package just over a week ago, the global and the domestic economic environment has deteriorated. We now expect the economic shock to be deeper, wider and longer. Every arm of government and industry is working to keep Australians in jobs and businesses in business and to build a bridge to recovery on the other side. Today, the government is announcing a second package, $66 billion, to cushion the blow to households as a result of the coronavirus and to support businesses. And we are enhancing in an unprecedented way Australia's safety net. This package is consistent with our principles. The initiatives are targeted, are temporary, are proportionate, are scalable, and are using our existing systems. Today, this package, together with the other initiatives that have been announced, sees the government support for our Australian economy announced over the last 10 days at $189 billion, or as the Prime Minister said, around 10% of GDP. Today's package has 3 parts involving 10 separate initiatives. The package will support households including casuals, sole traders, retirees and those on income support. It will provide assistance for businesses to keep people in a job, and it will provide regulatory protection and financial support for businesses to stay in business. Today, the government is announcing the doubling of the job seeker allowance, formerly known as New Start, through the introduction of a temporary coronavirus supplement. The government will also waive the assets test and waiting periods for the job seeker allowance, allowing more Australians to more quickly access the support that they need. The coronavirus supplement will provide an additional $550 a fortnight on top of the existing job seeker or New Start payment, and will be available to sole traders and casual workers who meet the income test. This means anyone eligible for the maximum job seeker payment will now receive more than $1,100 a fortnight, effectively doubling the job seeker allowance. In the first package, on the 12th of March, we announced a $750 payment for Australians on income support. Today we announce that from July 13, a further $750 payment to those on income support that are not eligible for the coronavirus supplement. This includes those receiving the age pension, the carers allowance, family tax benefits and the Commonwealth Seniors Health Card. In total, 5.2 million Australians. We are also reducing the deeming rates by a further 0.25% to reflect the recent Reserve Bank interest rate cut. Over 900,000 social security recipients on income-tested support will now benefit.